This is a really good one. Sandra from Manatee County, a little bit further away. Can I rebuild my credit after I file bankruptcy? This may sound remedial at first, folks, but technically it's not. It's a great question. Again, you got to go back to the issue of whether or not she's in a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13. And the reason why is in a Chapter 7, you're going to get your discharge in probably 6 months. A lot of creditors will not extend you credit until you get that discharge in a 7. So that's important to know. But let's say, for example, she files bankruptcy, she's keeping her house and she's keeping her car. I impress upon my clients the importance of keeping all those payments that are current after you file. It's more important to keep them current after you file because once you get that discharge, those debts are going to show up on your credit report as timely paid. They better show up as timely paid, otherwise it's untrue. But you want to keep everything going that you have to start rebuilding your credit. If you're in a Chapter 13, same thing holds true. We've got good case law out there that says after your plan is confirmed, if you're making timely payments to your creditors, then they have an obligation to report that information as true and correct. So that's important too. So yes, if you do have a secured creditor, and that's going to be, let's say you have a car and you owe money to make it Ford Motor Credit, and you're paying Ford in a timely fashion. Great, fantastic, keep doing it because that'll help you rebuild your credit. I strongly encourage people to rebuild their credit slowly. Here's a perfect example. I went to a creditors meeting the other day. Usually takes place about 30 days after you file bankruptcy, 30, 35-ish, kind of in there. Talked to this gentleman for 5 minutes. He said, Carmen, when you said I was going to get credit applications, I didn't know I was going to get them so fast. He's the first person in a while who told me that they got their credit applications within 30 days after the date of filing the bankruptcy. There's a lot of creditors out there who are aggressively pursuing people who filed bankruptcy. They want you back in the game. You haven't been out for so long that we're not going to try to pull you back into that credit game. Remember, unless you're charging, they're not making any money. Unless you're paying them interest, they're not making any money. That's where you win the game, by staying out of the credit game. Use it to your advantage. Get a credit card, pay it off. Pay off your car on a timely fashion and pay it off a little quicker if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that. Those things are going to help your credit score. Just by filing bankruptcy alone, your credit score should adjust. Maybe short term it's going to be worse, maybe it gets better automatically depending upon your debt to income ratio. No one truly knows the factors that go into a FICO score. Maybe there's one person out there, I don't know. I'm not going to claim I know the algorithm to fix it. I never would. But I do know from looking at past clients' credit reports and credit histories that the lowering of the debt-to-income ratio substantially helps, as well as making payments in a timely fashion. So yes, the answer is yes, you can rebuild your credit, Sandra. I strongly encourage you to do it. During the bankruptcy, make those timely payments. After the bankruptcy and you get your discharge or a confirmed plan in a 13, then you want to go out. If you apply for new credit, you've got to be really careful in a 13 because if it's something like a car, you've got to get the court permission. But at the same point in time, if you're in a 7, you get your discharge and you want to apply for a credit card, use it, pay it off, use it, pay it off, use it, pay it off. You may want to carry a small balance, but please don't carry too much of a balance because you're paying interest on that balance. And that, in my opinion, offsets any gain that you're going to get long term. So be careful with that. But a great question.